Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 22 of my show, but this is about Episode 21 of Season 3, and Episode 3 is Part 3 in the Changing the Zords 3-part episode, so before I start talking about it, I just want to mention this, since we're on the third part of this 3-part episode, that means the next video I'm going to cover is a single episode, and then the next 3-part episode is going to be covered after that. I might put that, I might put it in the description for this video. Actually, I probably won't, because I'll save putting it the last, technically I should say the second last 3-part episode, for this, third season in the description for the next video, but anyway, getting back into it, and this is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 22 of my show, but this is about episode 21 of season 3, and as I stated before, episode 21 in season 3 is part 3 in the Changing of the Zords 3-part episode. So basically this episode carries over from where part 2 left off. If you guys remember back when I covered the previous part, I stated that Zedd had given the Rangers the ultimatum about piloting his Zords to conquer the Earth and stuff. And they were just about to come to the decision to pilot them, because he has the bargaining chip for Kimberly, basically, so they feel that they don't have a choice. So he tells them that they have to make the choice, and then he's like, tick-tock, tick-tock. And then he says times up, and by that point in the second part, the Rangers had already came to the decision, which leads into the start of this part, basically. Tommy tells Lord Zedd that they'll pilot his Zords and stuff. And then when Zedd overhears that part of it, he's like, "Excellent! You will report to me at dawn." With that, which you will then use the new Zords to help me conquer your world. And then he basically gets away, but he only gets away in this part because of the fact that he succeeded in getting the Rangers to technically work for him. And then basically what happens is after that, the Rangers then put into motion the plan to try to rescue Kimberly, because by rescuing her, they will take away any chance that Zedd has for the Rangers to work for him, and then they start working on a way to get it done, and then Zedd and Rita are up in the palace celebrating and stuff. And then basically what happens is, after that, the Rangers then manage to locate Kimberly in one of Zedd's dimensions. And then they're wondering, and then Billy wonders how they can get into Zedd's dimension in order to rescue Kimberly, and then Tommy mentions why not just use the same device that they used to get into it before. And then Billy inquires about... Now, the device Tommy is referring to is the portal comm. Because when Billy hears that part, he says the portal comm, he tells him that he used it once when he was trapped in Zedd's dimension. So basically, they sort of use it again to rescue Kimberly, and then that's sort of where this segment with Zedd kind of leans into it, because while he's celebrating, at the same time, he's also nervous. Like, he's like... Because at this point, the Rangers then had started setting up the portal comm in order to enter Zedd's dimension in order to rescue Kimberly and stuff. And basically... Billy had told Tommy that only he can go because was the only one who had been in one of Zedd's dimensions before, and the portal can only stay open for so long before it has to be closed. And then basically, so because of that, Tommy goes into the dimension to get Kimberly out of it in order to take away Zedd's bargaining chip, while the other Rangers stay behind while he does that. And then this then leads into what happens with Zedd. He's like, like I said before, while they are celebrating, the Rangers, while they're celebrating the Rangers working for them and piloting their Zords, he also gets a little nervous. He's like, I better check on those meddling Rangers one last time. Them giving in to my demands so easily makes me nervous. Which honestly makes sense. And then, so he then uses his visor eyes to look down on the earth, and he sees that they're using the portal comm device. And he's like, I knew they were trying to pull a fast one on me. Tangas! Destroy them! And then, so he sends the Tangas down to deal with the Rangers, that are on the outside of the portal device. And then, while they do that, Zedd realizes that Tommy is in the, dimension trying to rescue Kimberly, basically. To rescue Kimberly, basically, and then when Goldar overhears that part of it, he's like, Master, let me go, I have an old score to settle. Now, the old score I think the old score he's technically referring to is the score that technically was started, but, because Zedd basically he tells his minions that he's gotta stop, like, he's like, we gotta stop Tommy from rescuing the Pink Ranger and the White Ranger from rescuing the Pink Ranger and taking away any chance the Rangers have of piloting our evil Zords. And then that's when Goldar explains, like, he's like, Master, let me go, I have an old score to settle. And as I stated before, I think the old score he's actually referring to is because of the storylines that happened in season 1, like when Tommy used to work for Rita when he was under one of Rita's spells. But then he was set free, so it's sort of similar to that, like I think that's what it meant. It was technically Tommy did work for the enemy, but it was only when he was under one of Rita's spells. So basically, I think that's the old score that Goldar is referring to. Plus, I think the fact that Tommy also stopped a lot of Zedd's plans, and Goldar was a part of. I think that also plays a part in it, the events that happened in the second season where they had to fight Zedd a lot, and the putties and Goldar was sent down with them. So I think that also plays a hand in it. And then basically, Zedd tells Goldar then, very well, Goldar, you have earned that right. And then he goes down, and then basically Rito gets a little upset, and he's like, I want to go too. And then basically, Zedd's like, oh, all right. Maybe between the two of you, you can get something done right. You can actually manage to do the job right. And then basically, what happens is Goldar and Rito go down to deal with Tommy, and then basically in that dimension where the machine is, and then they start fighting him, and he manages to rescue Kimberly and get away. Well, actually, he doesn't get away from them. Like, Rito and Goldar escape, but then basically what happens is, after Zedd sees that Rito and Goldar both failed, he goes down to deal with the Power Ranger, with Tommy himself, and then they start fighting, and then while they fight, Tommy accidentally breaks Lord Zedd's staff, which turns back into the snake form, and then the other Rangers are wondering what's taking them so long to, what's taking Tommy so long to get Kimberly out, and then Rita gets a little impatient, so she decides to send the Zords down to Earth already, and then basically, when she sends them down, basically what happens is, the other Rangers see that the Zords got sent down, but they think that means that Tommy had failed to rescue Kimberly, which isn't really true, because Tommy is still fighting Zedd at this point. Like, he's still fighting him before he breaks his step. The part where he breaks his step and it turns back happens before they get away, which I'll cover in the next little bit of it, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then Adam says that the Zords are impressive, but he can't believe that they have to use them for evil and stuff. And then basically, Tommy is still fighting Lord Zedd at this point, and then basically he manages to not defeat Zedd, but he manages to destroy his staff, which turns it back into its snake form that it was in previously back in part 1 of the 3-part season opener for season 2. And then he gets away, and then the Rangers basically see that Tommy has rescued Kimberly and stuff, and then he sees the Zords, and then basically he says that the Zords are impressive, but he wonders if they can reprogram them to be used for the side of good. And then basically Zordon explains that they can, all they gotta do is override, Billy says that they can, all they gotta do is override Zedd's evil programming. So they managed to use the blocker device, similar to the same type of device that was used back in season 1, I believe. They used the blocker device as a repurposing it as a takeover device to take over the control of Zedd's evil Zords and turn them good. And then they get in control of their Zords, and then Gerald, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, they say that the Zords are theirs, and then basically Zedd and Rita get upset that they lost to the Rangers again and lost their Zords. Like, Rita's getting a little upset by that, and then Zedd gets especially upset. He's like, they broke my staff. They stole my Zords. oh, this job used to be fun. I hate it when the good guys win. And then basically, the Rangers are basically happy that they got control of the new Zords. And then basically, Zordon is telling the Rangers that their new Zords are known as the Shogun Zords. And they should serve them well and stuff. And then basically, they're wondering what they can do about Kimberly. So, Zordon explains that Kimberly's situation is sort of similar to how Tommy's situation was with the green candle, where her energy could be re-energized and such. Because the pink power coin is technically at this point still in Rita Zedd's possession, so basically the coin is still inoperable at this point. And then basically what happens is, after that, Kimberly says that she guesses at the end of the Pink Ranger, and then basically Tommy tells her that basically it's not really, because she can just borrow the power from everyone else, and then in order to keep her power. And then basically she said that it's not her own, and then he tells her that what he told her, he tells her what she told him about, remember what she said when he lost his powers? And then she said that yes, she said everything would be alright, and then basically he said that everything will be fine, and then they're happy about that. And then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow for the next Power Ranger video, which will be covering the Follow That Cab episode, which will then be, after that, will lead into the next 3-part episode. But anyway, just like I always tell you with this series, guys, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.